America, and welcome to Invent America, because America invents.
This episode of Invent America is brought to you by America's Inventor Lady and Home Talk USA. Home Talk is a proud member of the King's Broadcasting Network and has been bringing to you the best of America's home-based product innovation since 1998. This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by the law offices of R.P. Baraska. RPB law offices have been bringing corporate-level legal expertise to the independent inventor community for more than 20 years. For all your inventing legal needs, trust rpblawoffices.com.
My guest today is Craig Bush. He is the inventor of RepUp. We launched this product at ASD Market Week in March, and it was a ton of fun, a very cool product. And so, Craig, tell our audience, what is RepUp?
Hey, Rita, how you doing? So RepUp is the world's first smart agility cone. So my background's in athletics. All sports use agility cones. And I came up with the idea of interfacing it with a display module and then infusing it with a stopwatch and a rep counter. So coaches, players, parents, pretty much everyone can track their performance and get instantaneous results.
I think that when you explained it to me, and that's when it was like, okay, now I understand. You know, you get people, they're standing out there with stopwatches, they're watching, they're counting and everything. With RepUp, you can have 50 kids out there and they're all using the technology, and now you have an accurate accounting of what each student did.
That's correct. We can have instantaneous results. So now you don't have to stand there with 50 stopwatches. So yeah, it's really easy to use. There's not multiple sensors that you have to set up. There's not space restrictions. So that's a huge improvement in the world of athletic performance training.
So how did you work through your prototype stages?
Well, listening to your first segment, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I can't believe how far we've gotten. You often don't look back and you forget about all the work that it's taken just to get here. But I would say that when I started this, it was an idea that was on a napkin. I didn't set out to invent or be an inventor. I just came up with the bright idea of like, hey, these agility cones have been out forever. Why has nobody put technology into them? And so the light bulb went off. And then I thought, well, that would be really amazing if we could put a display module and just build it into the agility cone. And so I just drew out a simple little agility cone with a display module with a little stopwatch on it. And then I kept that to myself. I knew that if you released a ball from the top of that or an apparatus, that it would trigger the stopwatch. And then once you set the ball back on top, it would stop it. So I knew I had something really special because I was able to use the actual training without the technology by just having players pick and set a tennis ball on top of a cone to count the reps. And that was really interesting. They had a lot of fun with that. So, what I did is I started to talk with just people really close to me, and then the networking began. And somebody said, hey, Craig, I think you need to check out this company. They're out of Chicago. I've got a contact information for you. Why don't you just reach out to them via email? And I did that, and I got surprisingly, like within a week back, they said, hey, our team would love to meet you out here in Chicago. So I had the napkin, the drawing, and next thing I know, I'm downtown Chicago and I'm pitching this idea to the people that could actually make this happen, the people that can take that vision on paper. And now the pros, like you guys are talking about, the professionals that say, hey, we love this idea. We'd love to be a part of it. We think we could really streamline this and make this look really amazing for the market. And that's when the process began. So I had to pay those fees. And then we were in direct communication of different drawings and different ideas. And then finally, when it was all put together, it was like, which one do you want? So I had 5 or 6 that I could choose from. And then I went with a black faced one that's got the display module. And I thought, man, this would be really good, and the students would really like this. I think it's a beautiful looking product. And next thing you know, they're putting it together, and I got the phone call, hey, we are done. Meet us in Chicago. Let's look at it. And I tell you, I remember walking into the room, and when they pulled it out and you saw that technology actually lighting up and everything I envisioned, it really is one of the greatest days of an inventor's life. It was absolutely amazing. But now, what do you do with it? And so that's where we're at, as you know. And
Yep.
a lot of great things are happening with it.
There's kind of those moments when it's like, you've got the idea, but ideas are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one, and it doesn't matter how cute yours is. I cannot sell it. But then you've got the first functioning or proof of concept prototype, which is another one of those. It's like, okay, we're getting there. And then when you've got now something that you can actually go and launch, that's another one of those moments. It's like one more step, one more, boulder that you've conquered on, the mountain of getting a product from mind to market. And that's always the challenge, is being able to get from the belly button stage now to the marketing stage, where somebody say, I want that. I want to buy that. I want to license that.
Yeah. And the bottom line is for the inventors is you need to have that. You need the prototype. That's how you pitch. You can get it into people's hands. Now they can feel it. They can taste it. They can touch it. They can experience it. And so that's a way of selling that product before you even get it to market and get somebody really excited. I know at ASD Market Week, we had people that were lined up that just wanted to just feel it. And then once they were able to get their hands on it, it even made more sense then, like, wow, this is really amazing. So I would encourage everybody, you got to get a prototype, and one that's at least a functioning prototype that can be tested and doesn't break the first time.
Yes, that your prototype then of the proof of concept is beyond that duct tape and cardboard one that can break easily. And when you've got a good prototype, because somebody will say, how much is that? And they don't know necessarily the difference between buying the prototype and a manufactured one. So, Craig, we wish you the best of luck. I am enjoying working with you, and we're going to get you licensed out there. Right now, we've got to go and pay some bills. So, everyone, stick with us. We will be right back with Jim Schuelke from California and the Rodent Stoppers.
This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by SearchQuest Patent Search. SearchQuest provides for a comprehensive patent search that searches the entire world and not just the U.S. Patent Office. Make sure that before you spend those big bucks having a patent written, you've done your due diligence by getting a comprehensive patent search. Use SearchQuestPatents.com for all your patent search needs. They scour the world for you.
And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America. Why? Because America invents. We've been doing it for centuries, and we will continue to do it for a long time to come. Because you know what? We solve problems, and when we solve problems, we create something that everybody else can use. That's kind of the whole idea. My next guest is Jim Schuelke, and he is the inventor. He and his brother are the inventor of Rodent Stoppers, which is a wonderful product on controlling those little creatures out there that get into your house or your workspace and give you nightmares. So, Jim, tell everybody about Rodent Stoppers.
Yeah, so I'm definitely the other half that's behind shoprodentstoppers.com. My brother and I are true pro professional rat exterminators that are on the field on a weekly basis. And through that journey, we have invented some powerful rat trapping devices, along with some preventative measures to stop rodents coming in from structures or into structures. And all of our prototypes, all of our trapping, all of our products have been tested in the nastiest rat infested environments. So they truly work, and they are truly pro grade and the best innovative products on the market, we feel, when it comes to rodent control.
Well, and you guys have got multiple products that you're selling, and things that you've filed patents on. When you were getting started, and you go, let's do this. How did you go through that prototyping stage? What that look like? Did you have kind of a tug of war between you and Dave, or it's like you're both on the same page because you're twins?
I got to give it credit to Dave because, when we do a job, we set up monitoring cameras, and that gives us all the intel as to how the rats are behaving to the current products that are on the market. We'd go to a big box store and grab a couple rat traps, and then we would bait it like a traditional way of doing it. But then these cameras would give us the intel. These traps would flip over. The rats were so brilliant in coming in and stealing the bait. So Dave, with the rat trap, he sort of created the first prototype with some plastic pipe and some wood, 2x4 wood, added a little bit of bait plate there. We baited it with our famous chunky peanut butter bait, and sure enough, it was working. In fact, it increased the trapping rate like 90%. And so from that prototype, we went to an engineer, and then that's when sort of the twin trap with the hoodie, the bait tugger, and the platform was created.
So it's fascinating when you think of a better mousetrap. No pun intended, but everybody says, "Oh, let's do a better mousetrap," and the steps you go through to come up with a better mousetrap. Now, we have bought. I mean, like I said, we live in the forest, so mice are just part of the game out here, and there's a lot of different types of mousetraps out there, or rat traps. And how do you guys decide a better way?
Yeah. Well, again, being out on the field, right? Technicians, one of the biggest inefficiencies when it comes to rodent control is returning back and forth for trapping and rebaiting. And if the traps are flipped over or we're not trapping, that's all time. That's all extra labor, adds cost. So like our multi-catch rat vac, it catches up to 60 mice, 33 rats. You bait it and forget it. You set it and forget it. And you literally can decolonize a complete infestation on the exterior or the interior. So really creating products like that gives us that ability to be able to want to create more, especially when you're winning the battle on these rodents.
And that's when we moved out here, we were having some issues, and so we bought these traps, and the animal would actually sit on top of the trap, and it's like I felt like he was waving at me because he'd reach in, grab the bait, and then he was gone, and the trap was empty of the bait and the animal. And it's sometimes you need a rodent stopper. You need somebody who's done the research, that's watched it, to be able to say, no, this is better.
Yeah, 100%. And we have, through our social media, that's how we market our products. So we went through prototypes to the inventions to the patents. And then, like earlier, you guys were talking about going to market, right? We've been very fortunate with our YouTube telling the story. So consumers really get to see our products in action through our social media. So to your point a few minutes ago, Rita, we've witnessed like the T-Rex rat traps, where a baby rat will sit there and eat all the peanut butter and it never deploys. And that's frustrating for a consumer. Where our rat trap, we've solved that. So when they buy it, we feel confident that they're going to be able to go in and really do an effective eradication.
So for our consumers, when they want to be able to solve the problem, all right, where can they go to find you guys? And then do they need a professional, or do you have the training tools, a DIY?
Yeah. Our YouTube channel, which gets 20 million views a month, it's all about attic rat removal to mice, you name it. We have helped thousands and thousands of homeowners. So if you go to YouTube and you go to Twin Home Experts, you get to watch us in action right there and see all of the stories. And we get emails on a daily basis. Twins, thank you so much. Watching this video, I was able to solve it. I hired 4 local guys, and they weren't even able to solve it. And I did with your knowledge and your devices. So that's always super rewarding when we see that coming in.
That's, social media these days is such a viable tool for getting news out there. And there is nothing that's yuckier than having, an infestation of one thing or another. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's, spiders, mice, or snakes. Sometimes neighbors, but you never know. How long have you guys been doing this?
Well, we've been on, as far as YouTube, or for doing the work?
No, for inventing. How long have you been working on your inventions for the
last 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, the last 5 years. And we have a product line of about 11 products. We have some new inventions that are coming up. And it's just exciting. I love being in this new world of inventing. It gets the mind going and meeting people like you, Rita, and helping us through the journey. It's just been, we have so much fun doing it. In addition, the biggest reward is seeing the people using it and getting, when I show up to a house and I see my rat caps on their roof vents prior to getting there, that's pretty exciting. It's pretty awesome.
It is. It is. There's nothing more exciting than seeing your product in somebody's hands and you didn't know them. It wasn't your mother,
Exactly.
It's when I was writing murder mysteries, the first time I got on an airplane and I saw somebody reading one of my books and I didn't know them. It was like, yay, they're out there. It's really fun.
That's awesome. Yep. Great feeling.
So you said you've got more products coming out, all related to then that home care?
Yeah, all related to rodents. Again, every job is new for us, and we see a problem. We look and see if there's a solution out there, and if there isn't a solution that hasn't really been optimized yet, we'll go in there and make it better. We're coming out with an amazing dryer vent that's magnetic, that's rodent proof. So we're excited. We should have that in the next 30 days.
Wonderful.
Our UV rodent tracking powder just hit the market. So yeah, good stuff.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, where do people go to find you?
They go to shoprodentstoppers.com.
Excellent. So anybody out there who's got a problem with one rodent or another, go get in touch with the twin home experts. Shoprodentstoppers.com is the website. And these gentlemen they're wonderful, and they can certainly help you be able to, DIY and be able to close up the vents, close up the holes, and get the products out there. Right, Jim?
That's right. 100%.
So, the YouTube TV, we have learned, is the biggest channel in the world.
Yeah.
Do you use any other social media platforms?
Yes, we do a lot of shorts. So we're on TikTok, which we're approaching about 1 million followers. And then on Instagram, a little over 300,000. So we're posting constantly. And if you're an inventor out there and you have products, highly, highly recommend it.
So, well, that's wonderful. Thanks so much. And if you are an inventor out there, or you know someone, or if you're a student and you think, I want to be an inventor, you know what? Follow us on Invent America Radio. Follow us on YouTube, because we are there as well. And we can help answer questions for you. We can help you find really good service providers. And we also do the Inventors Roundtable, so you can come ask your questions of another inventor sitting next to you. But stick with us, everybody. We are going to be right back with John Thompson from Fruition Labs, and his specialty is helping inventors get through that prototyping stage. Thanks, Jim, so much. If you're an inventor, or you know an inventor out there who would just like to be able to have a conversation with other inventors, join the Inventors Roundtable. It's free. The meetings are virtual, so you can be anywhere in America and talk to another inventor. And for a lot of folks out there, understanding the process, being able to ask questions, getting good service provider information is critical to the inventing process. So, got questions? Want to join? It's free. inventorsroundtable.org. And thanks so much for being with us this afternoon for this segment of Invent America Radio. All right, so my guest right now is John Thompson. He is creator, founder, CEO, part of the running force behind Fruition Labs. And Fruition Labs runs a little bit differently than a lot of the other prototype places out there. So John, tell everybody about yourself and Fruition Labs.
Will do. Hi, Rita, and thanks. Fruition Labs really helps people from napkin sketch all the way through to manufacturing. And so we help every step of the way, helping refine the drawings, take it through design for manufacturing, set up for tooling, and into manufacturing. And unlike most prototyping companies, we don't charge anything for those services. We have to believe in the product, the team, the funding for the team, all the things that go together to make sure that product can launch. because we make our money on the manufacturing side. So we don't work with everybody, but the people we work with extremely deeply to get them to market and selling their product. And it's really fun. We've worked together on a few things, Rita, and I know that a container's landing soon, as a matter of fact, for one of our friends. So yeah.
I know, and I know that Leslie thinks that you walk on water.
Nice.
She called me back 30 seconds after she hung up the phone with you and said, "Oh my God, he's so wonderful."
Nice. Well, thank you. Yeah, she's got a neat idea too.
Yep, she does, and I'm looking forward to getting the other one landed here so we can get it out the door, and just we get the inventors. They've got, sometimes it's something off the beaten path. You're not going to be able to use for a lot of not for every invention, that rapid prototype. I mean, that seems to be the go-to. Everybody assumes that we can use rapid prototyping, but you can't use rapid prototyping on everything.
So what I find, and what most people want to jump straight to prototype before the product's really finished, or they want to go to the last prototype first. And you and Michael were talking at the start of the show about the 5-step. It's paper, and then patent, then prototype, manufacturing, then marketing. And really, patent and prototype go kind of hand in hand in there, because I think it takes months and months of refinement to get a product ready to launch. You have the greatest idea in your head, but when Craig was talking, or Jim was talking, they didn't come up and go straight to a final prototype without some iteration in there. And iteration is the part that most people don't think about. So when you're sitting there looking at your prototype, and you have the idea in your head, and you think it's going to cost $10,000 or $5,000 or $20,000, whatever your prototype is going to cost, you've got to figure that times 3 or 4 sometimes, because I like to recommend that the first thing you do, if you've got a good drawing of it, or maybe a 3D model, is just print or carve out of a piece of foam or form out of cardboard a very rough model of that, and set it on your desk and say, is that what I'm thinking about? You talked about Legos earlier. They actually are really functional for that.
I know.
I can't tell you the number of times we've looked at a great 3D model on the screen, and it looks so pretty, and you can spin it all the ways. And as soon as you print it out and set it on the desk, it's like, well, that's all wrong. And so,
yeah, no kidding.
So
I'll tell people, it's like, you can do renderings of life on Mars. It doesn't mean that there is life on Mars.
yes,
So renderings, we cannot work with, that's fine in the beginning to get an idea. But when it
yes,
comes down to that, duct tape and cardboard, or Legos version of your first prototype, that's
yes.
where you learn it. This needs to be a little bit bigger. This needs to open this direction. Nope, that part's not going to work. And you really got to be able to touch it and feel it to get the idea of what's going to work and what isn't.
It's true. And you can start showing other people then, is this too big? Is this too small? Does this feel right for what the function is? And it also helps you get kind of like a feel for the objections that you can start to maybe bake into the product, the solutions to those objections. So to me, there's an iterative process. I don't think I've ever done less than 3 kind of major prototype rounds. And that first one is just a 3D model of the product. No real functionality necessarily, just does it look right and feel right? Because your product has to look cool or it's not going to sell. It doesn't matter what kind of widget it is, what functionality it solves. If it doesn't look kind of cool, it's going to sit on shelf. So that's one of them. Then after kind of that rough prototype phase, and you can do 2 or 3 rounds of that going, after that rough prototype, you need to get your first fully functional. And I call that a rough prototype too. I'm not spending all the money to make that the finished be-all end-all prototype. I'm getting into the basic functionality of the product so that I can see that it works, that it solves the problem it needs to. If it's got electronics into it, it has most of the electronic function in it. And then after you do all that, you can get to what I'm going to call an engineering prototype. The engineering prototype is the one you're going to work with the engineers on to make sure you can actually make this thing.
Yes, yes.
I'll talk about that after our next stop. So,
well, and I'm sure that you have seen a lot of, really good ones, and some it's like, holy cow, we should not be doing this. And like you said, and I'm the same way. I don't take on the ones because I don't charge anything up front to help someone license it. So it's like, no, we are not going there. I wish you the best of luck. This is what you do next. Or it's like, okay, how fast can we get this one up and running and working because we want to get it out there?
yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Helping them get to market is probably the most exciting things. You talked about seeing your book in the wild. It's the same thing with products. Seeing it in Bed Bath & Beyond when there was a Bed Bath & Beyond was my favorite thing of my past with AeroGarden, where I was lucky enough to co-invent and co-bring that to market. So yeah, seeing them in stores and then walking a street at night and seeing it in the window is an amazing thing. So we help on all that process, and you can do, I think, like Craig did, which is a great thing. You can hire somebody to handle all of that for you, but it costs money. I did that in my first product, and it was $260,000 for the first product. I like a little hands-on, down
no
and
kidding.
dirty and iterative that I can control. So,
well, one of the things I try to help the inventor do is manage the cost early on. So it's like, here's your reality check. This is what you want to watch for. I want to thank you, John, for being on today. We're going to get you on a lot more because you've got such wonderful experience for our inventors and fun stories for our listeners. You know, most of our consumers out there are the listeners that want to be able to say, oh, that's pretty cool. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. We will be back next week with more stories on getting products from mind to market. We will have new inventors and industry experts. So join us and have a wonderful week.